So there is a new fun trend on TikTok, and I thought I'd talk about it, and it's called the that I'm not falling for. And it's a bunch of women, the ones that I've seen are mostly on the left, talking about all of the things that they think are basically on the alt-right pipeline. So welcome back to the Freedom Pines podcast. I'm your host, Jamie A.B. Let's look at what some of the left thinks that they are not going to be falling for. First up, we got this gal. She says she's not falling for Make America Healthy Again, or things I find chic, lip filler and Botox, which I agree with that. Liberals who don't say free pals, colostrum. She doesn't want to fall for colostrum, which, by the way, I understand what she's talking about, but colostrum is extremely healthy for babies. I just wanted to let you guys know that it is probably a superfood, because it's like a superfood to babies. And I understand where the trend comes from. I will not be partaking in it unless it was my own, but let's keep going. Non-toxic living. She's also not falling for I like to stay out of politics. Y'all getting hypnotized by park sweaters. She's not falling for, I don't know what that means. Castor oil on your belly button. Idolizing rich people. We can agree on that. And what we blank are wearing this summer. Oh, and she's not falling for clean girl BS. So I just want to start with, I'm not falling for Make America Healthy Again. This is what I don't understand, because it used to be a massive left-leaning issue to deeply care about where your food came from. Think the vegans, okay? Deeply care where your food came from, what was in your food, what the chemicals were in your food. That was a very much thing that made me a lefty for a very, very long time, okay? I just don't understand how you could disagree or think that it's propaganda to make America healthy again. When you look at the ingredients that are even in places like England, or even Canada has a lot more restrictions on what we allow in our food and toys and everything like that, you should be concerned. The amount of lead in America that is allowed, and I'm sure it's in Canada too, but it's a lot less in Canada. They have to when I was shopping at the Disney store, when we had one in Masonville, they recalled one of the Woody dolls that we had because it was so full of lead that it was harming children. So absolutely, I do not understand that about people, why they're so afraid of making America healthy again. I guess it's weird to think things are chic. Now, one of my favorite podcasts is called Homemaker Chic, and I've been listening to it since 2020. Think Martha Stewart. What do you mean? Why can't we be chic? What's so bad about being chic? I don't understand. Non-toxic living, guys. Non-toxic living. Do you know how much first of all, cheaper it is to use vinegar instead of cleaners? How much better it is to use vinegar than cleaners for the most part? I don't understand how people can go down the laundry aisle to get their laundry detergent and not be overwhelmed. Even when I was a child and never cared about these things, I was like, damn, that is like being hit in the face by chemicals. And I had no idea what I was talking about back then. I was just a little kid who didn't care about things like that. Also, the castor oil in your belly button, what could go wrong with that? These women will genuinely... Okay, hold on. I actually enjoy having a skincare routine, and one of these girls said beef tallow. Beef tallow. And I want to let you guys understand something, that the left will rub whatever any influencer tells them to, which this is snail. This is snail gunk. You know the trail that a snail leaves? That's what this is. And I'm not saying that I don't buy what influencers suggest to me, because clearly I have this snail thing. But the fact that they think that this is okay, but this, if you put this on your body, you are part of the alt-right pipeline, okay? I know beef tallow is so scary. Here's the thing, guys. They don't want you to be able to make your own cream. This cost me $9. $9 for a lot of stuff, okay? It was easy to make, okay? It's made out of beef fat. This is traditional. These people are the ones that call us colonized. Well, you guys can't even handle beef tallow, okay? So chill out. Go rub some snail all over your face and relax, all right? Just because you guys don't want to try beef tallow doesn't mean that others don't and find success with it, because they'll rub $400 cream on their face, not know a single ingredient, when I made this myself. And they'll call me far right for doing it. And I am not kidding. They do. They genuinely think if you try beef tallow, you are Tradwife territory. You are the devil. Well, I guess no. They think you're like this Christian. I don't even know. Okay, because first of all, I got beef tallow from some farmer that I knew who was genuinely very left-leaning, and it was just something she started selling. She also sells the beef tallow, like the beef fat, in the store, and that's how I made it. It's kind of gross. I kind of barfed the first time I made it, but it's cheap and easy to make, so of course there's an entire campaign of how dangerous it is. A lot of these girls say propaganda I'm not falling for. A homebody supremacy, male loneliness epidemic. Yeah, because who cares about males' mental health? Which, by the way, when I went to school, like when I read you guys all of those ethics, feminism was truly about men and women and bringing them together. And all it has been in the last at least 10 years has been women severely hating men, building their entire brand off of hating men, and then also simultaneously at the same time trying to convince us that biology is not a thing. This one says $200 nosebleed tickets. I agree. I paid way more for even less. The push for the Tradwife lifestyle. Who? I don't understand. Because first of all, a bunch of these Tradwives have platforms. If these people are on platforms and they're not in Amish communities, they are not actually traditional. None of these women have been traditional. If you're sitting on live for hours on end, you are not traditional, okay? I do not know where these people think that this giant Tradwife trend is going on. There are homemakers that I follow who care about the home. Okay, because one of these ones say, I'm not falling for women staying home after they get married. And I just want to say, okay, good. So don't advocate for lockdowns and mandates, and people like me won't have to stay home. How about that? How about that, you guys? I will say it's nice to see that on both sides, the propaganda that people are not falling for is the you don't owe anyone anything mindset. I love seeing that being one of the combined. And I love seeing combined being everybody getting Botox, like being against Botox and not falling for that propaganda. I love that, okay? And then this one is someone that I follow. So someone on the right, this is kind of what the rights look like. Hating people for having political beliefs, current pandemic of self-victimization, skinny shaming, celebrating divorce and hating men, and infants requiring over 20 medications in their first 12 months of living. I've seen ones that say sea change, they, them, glorifying S work, birth control. Yeah, that was a huge thing, was birth control being bad for you. Babe, sorry, I have this stain here and I meant to cover it with my hair. It's called informed consent, and no medicine is good nor bad. It is how it reacts in your body. It's good to know that some medications, all medications, most medications have side effects, and it is actually very important for women to know what those potential side effects could be. I know a lot of women my age are kind of upset because they were on BC for a very, very long time, and then when they went off of it, a lot changed about their bodies. Hormones were going crazy. And then they'll sit there and say, I'm not falling for hormone anything therapy. That's weird. Because they're talking about like this rise in women wanting to like do get estrogen naturally and stuff. And they do not like it. They think it's a right-wing pipeline. So I do feel as though a lot of these women on the left and right, on the in-between of their political stances, the things that they weren't falling for were very much similar. And I kind of admire that. I like finding common ground. I am very bitter right now because of our election results and the people having the nerve to vote in the exact same people that were here ruining our life for 10 years. But, it gives me hope seeing these, that there is still some things that we have in common with the left. Let's make my list though before I go, okay? Things that I'm not falling for. Can it be again? Because it would be that Western medicine is the be and end all, and to trust every single thing and don't ever, actually ignoring informed consent. There we go. I'm not falling for the trend of kids ruining your life. I'm definitely not falling for the trend of hating all men, especially because I have 2 sons, and that's kind of depressing if you hate men and are married with 2 sons, okay? I'm also not falling for the inclusivity at all costs. It has cost a lot of people and a lot of children to get left behind, and yeah, I'm not falling for it anymore. Also not falling for sea change. Okay, I'm sitting here. It was 12 degrees in town today. Oh, I'm not gonna fall for being vegan again, because I was vegan for 5 years. Okay. I'm not falling for globalization being a good idea. Okay. I'm not falling for the trend of hating tradwives, because there's no such thing as tradwives unless they are in the Amish communities, like I said. Okay, because all of a sudden we're just telling women to, especially in America, this feels very deliberate in America, because it feels like they don't want to give women maternity leave, is what it feels like. Like, they are very much online, the left on TikTok do not want women to stay home with their babies in the slightest. If you have to depend on your man even for a few months, they say you shouldn't do it. I am from a marriage where there's been times where my husband has taken time off and times where I've taken time off, because that's just what happens in life, whether you have an injury or it's a pandemic or whatever it is. And so I know the reality is, because I've been through situations that have not been great. The best case scenario is education, not shaming women online. And I just think it's very interesting that the left does not think about informed consent in the slightest. And it worries me, because some of you guys mentioned that people didn't know about the standard code of ethics. I think you guys are right. It scares the crap out of me how many people think that informed consent is like a far right issue. Guys, you need to know what's going in your body. That's why you look at different kinds of birth control. When I started my ADHD medication, it wasn't just like, oh, well, you could, this one will work for everybody. No. It's because no medication is good or bad. It is how it responds in your body. So how about we go to that logic instead of thinking that informed consent is a right-wing ideology, because it is very much not, you guys. But anyways, I did my Dion quintuplets deep dive, so it's going to look a little bit different. I'm going to be starting a series called Dark Northern History, and I'm very, very excited about it. And I want to do that before I probably move to Alberta and start reporting about their local history, because Northern Ontario deserves some attention, and I'm going to give it to them for a little bit. So if you guys could tune in to that, it's very interesting. Yes, the Liberal government made a human zoo out of 5 babies. And the parallels of the media that they put out to justify their actions while simultaneously having these little girls be on display like a human zoo is a test to how the media is used currently to make things look way better than they are. So if that interests you, please tune in. And I'm very excited about that. And you guys have a wonderful and fabulous day. And remember, if you're tired of the CBC, don't forget to follow me. Have a good one, guys.